This housing project was built in 1953. It became the center of the movement. It was chosen because of its location. It's completely surrounded. Brown Chapel is completely surrounded by housing. Safe. No one can get to this church. The policeman said there would be no march between Selma and Montgomery.
Each and every one in this line is under arrest for parading without a permit.
See this building on the right? We're making a left. County Courthouse, Board of Registrars on the first floor. We have been marching to this building since the early 1930s. See this entrance on the back? Colored entrance. I was arrested there for the first time when I was 8 years old, along with my grandmother, for parading without a permit. One day we were on this street, Broad Street. It's a drugstore on the next corner from the Rexall drugstore called Carter's Drugstore. Carter's had a lunch counter. I wanted to sit at that lunch counter. Grandmother said I couldn't sit at that lunch counter because colored children were not allowed. I didn't stop wanting to sit at that counter. Every time I passed by there, I peep in that window or look over at that counter and see those white kids sitting there spinning around on those stools, licking that ice cream cone. It looked like so much fun, and I'd wish it was me. That evening, they let the children out. They ran straight to the church where the mass meeting was being held and disrupted the meeting. They said, you have to do something. You have to do something now. People in the church decided that they would walk down to that courthouse and walk around it all night long in hopes that their mere presence would save this man's life. When they left the church, they were attacked and brutally beaten by law enforcement officers. A young man named Jimmy Lee Jackson emerged from the church just in time to see a state trooper beating his grandfather, his 82-year-old grandfather. Jimmy ran over and he pleaded with this trooper, please don't beat my grandfather, he's an old man. Take him to jail if he's done something wrong. Jimmy's mom saw them beating her father too, and she ran over. As she approached, that state trooper drew back his billy club to hit her. Jimmy put up his hand to stop him, and that trooper shot him. Jimmy died 8 days later at Good Samaritan Hospital here in Selma. It was then that the leaders decided to walk from Selma to Montgomery. One to protest this young man's senseless death, the other to demand the right to vote from our then Governor George Wallace. On March 7, 1965, we left from that ragged cement on the playground of George Washington Carver Homes and came right down Broad Street and over this bridge and met a wall of policemen. We were led by John Lewis and Hosea Williams. You have 2 minutes to disperse and go back to your church. In 1 minute and 15 seconds, they attacked. I had never experienced violence. When I crested that bridge and saw that line of policemen, I knew we were not going to Montgomery. I was too far back to see what was being said. But I knew the procedure. I knew when John Lewis and Hosea got to that line of policemen, one of them would ask permission to pass, it would be denied. They would go down on their knees and we would follow suit. One of them would say a prayer, and after prayer they would stand up and lead us back to where we started from. We'd either plan a new strategy or just regroup, turn around and come back. As I'm standing there waiting for the front to go down, suddenly I hear gunshots and screams. I think they're killing the people down front. Before we could turn and run, it was too late. They came in from the front, the back, and both sides, and they were just beating people. Old, young, black, white, male, female, it didn't matter. They were just beating people. People lay everywhere bleeding, not moving, as if they were dead and you couldn't stop to help them. The gunshots I heard, nobody was shooting bullets on that bridge that day. It was the tear gas canisters being shot into the crowd. Tear gas burns your eyes, gets in your lungs. You can't breathe, you can't see, you panic. Oftentimes you run right back to the same people you were running from. It seemed like it lasted forever.
Funtown, USA. Dr. King now relates an experience, bemoaning the injustice of bigotry upon the heart of a little Negro child. He explains the evils of segregation to his daughter of adolescent age.
My little daughter loves to ride to the airport with me. She says to me so often, "Daddy, you just go over and over and over again." And so one of the ways she consoles herself in the fact that her daddy has to be away so much is to ride to the airport whenever I'm going in or coming back into town or going out of town. And she can do it if she isn't in school. And as we pass on the expressway going to the airport in Atlanta, we pass by what is known as Funtown. Now, this is an amusement center where little children go to play and where they go for recreation, something like Disneyland and something like the very fine amusement centers across the country for young people. And as we pass Funtown so often in the car, she would look over to me and say, "Daddy, I want to go to Funtown." Well, I could always evade the question when we were going by in the automobile because we were passing by and I could jump to another subject. And I didn't want to have to tell my little daughter that she couldn't go to Funtown because of the color of her skin. But then the other day we were at home, and like most children, she likes to look at television, and she was looking at television, and they were advertising Funtown, and she ran downstairs and said, "Daddy, you know I've been telling you I want to go to Funtown, and they were just talking about Funtown on the television, and I want you to take me to Funtown." No, I stood there speechless. How could I explain to a little 6-year-old girl that she couldn't go to Funtown because she was colored? I had been speaking across the country talking about segregation and discrimination, and I thought I could answer most of the questions that came up, but I was speechless for the moment. I didn't know how to explain it. Then I said to myself, I've got to face this problem once and for all. And I took her and called over. And my wife was sitting on the other side of the table, and I took my little daughter and told her to have a seat on my knees. And she jumped up in my lap, and I looked at her and I said, "Yolanda, we have a problem." I said, "You know, some people don't do the right things, and they are misguided. And so they have developed a system where white people go certain places and colored people go certain places." And I said they have Funtown like that so that they don't allow colored children to go to Funtown. And then I looked at her at that point because I didn't want her to develop a sense of bitterness. I didn't want her to grow up with a sense of hatred and bitterness in her heart. And so I had to rush on and say, "But now all white people aren't like this. There are some white people right here in Atlanta who would like for you to go to Funtown, and there are some all over the country who are right on this issue." Still there are those who have been misguided. Then I looked down into her eyes, and I said to her at that point, and I saw tears flowing from my eyes at that point, I said, Yoki, even though you can't go to Funtown, I want you to know that you are as good as anybody who goes into Funtown. And I want you to know, Yoki, that some of us are working hard every day to get Funtown open and to get many other places open. And I say to you that in the not-too-distant future, Funtown and every other town will be open to all of God's children because we're